But we do have a review of, first of all, should we talk about Netflix's Wednesday?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
S-
Wednesday
yes.
Addams.
So I mean, I wasn't super excited for this series. I've been loving kind of Jenna Ortega Assance that we're in right now with her kind of becoming this little scream queen because she's great.
It's not even
Um
an Ortega Assance, it's just an Ortega breakout.
Coming, yeah, like her like kind of coming out moment, doing all these great things right now. So yeah, I mean, just kind of in the trailers, I liked kind of what her portrayal looked like. I wasn't, as stoked on the rest of the Adams casting. I know a lot of people kind of had issue with Luis Guzman, and I think, a lot of people were kind of combating that, saying, it's very similar to the comic strip, and
And it is,
um
and it
yes,
is.
and
In in
excuse
in
me.
in aesthetic, in look,
Yes,
in visual look, I think Luis
yes.
Guzman
But
is very similar to that original Gomez Adams.
yeah.
There is a certain uh, charisma. There is a
Yes,
certain
that's where my concern came in. So
yes. There is a
it wasn't to do with the
certain
look, which was kind of most people's criticism. For me, it was I didn't think he could convey that kind of eccentricity, that kind
yes.
of excited eccentricity, and kind of boisterous, bombastic kind of, big personality, but also having this suave charisma. I did not see him kind of pulling that off. And I was kind of correct on that. He just did not, he seemed just kind of more silly and goofy as opposed to kind of eccentric slash charismatic.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't get much suaveness from
no.
him.
And yeah, I don't think his chemistry with Catherine Zeta-Jones was really there. And she seemed too emotive for Morticia in how I saw her.
But do you
She
think so? I quite liked her Morticia, to be honest. And I mean, admittedly, Gomez and Morticia are not in this show a great deal at all.
yeah.
They're in a couple of episodes. I think even maybe 3 of 8 episodes, maybe
Yeah.
even two. They're actually in. So you're not overwhelmed by them. But I quite enjoyed Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia more than Luis Guzman
She just seemed
as
very emotive, a
Gomez.
little too emotive. She was, like, smiling and, very kind of, she seemed very kind of a little too perky for Morticia,
I
you know?
understand that. I understand that. But then again, there's
Like
times when Wednesday, obviously, our lead character, the person we are with the entire show. I mean, it is at its core this as well a murder mystery, which I quite
yeah,
enjoyed. The actual story of it was interesting. The monster murder mystery kind of vibe. There's a hell of a lot of monsters, a hell of a lot of fantastical qualities
elements in there, yeah.
to this. It's not like um, kind of older Addams Family that is very much kind of a comedy on look at all these people who are so such outsiders in society, and
Yeah,
then but
and they're
they're
just
the most confident
unabashedly,
ones.
yes, they're unabashedly themselves in a world that kind of looks down on them and rejects them for being so different.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not about that. It's not about comedy at all, really. So it's interesting to, and I mean, even the early '90s Addams Family movies are comedic movies.
yes, yeah.
They are fantasy comedies, but they are comedic movies. This
I
is
just
is very
liked,
much not comedic, and it's
yeah.
it's it's interesting to me, and I think it does it successfully. I think it does it well. That it brings the Addams Family characters into what is actually a far more serious story,
Yeah.
and does it really well.
I just kind of always saw Morticia as more kind of sultry and stoic. And
Yeah,
I think Catherine Zeta-Jones was just a little too kind of showing like every emotion. When she was very sad, she was, sad. When she was happy, and she was very kind of smiley. And so, that was kind of, she was emoting a little more than I kind of knew the character to kind of be. Um and also I just did not like Wednesday's kind of negativity towards their family, because the biggest thing about them is like how much they love each other in kind of this very disgusting
Yeah.
kind of way.
Yeah.
And despite kind of how they communicate to each other, the love between them is still apparently there. And so for her to kind of have this disdain for her parents, just felt very much not like the character.
But
But
she
then
is a angsty teenager.
teenager. So then that's kind of, I think, a lot of the reasoning kind of people are giving for how she's acting. And, it doesn't feel familiar to us because we've never seen an iteration of Wednesday as a teenager.
No.
So this is kind of new territory for the character in general. So, that has to kind of be taken into account. But I mean, I love Jenna Ortega. She never breaks.
No,
She's always kind of this very same stoic character no matter kind of what is happening around her, but she still can, like, not crack a smile and still somehow convey a variety of emotions.
Yeah, it's really it's all in the eyes. There's a
Yes.
hell of a lot of it in the eyes, and I think she does it
Yes.
really, really well.
Yes, and she has several kind of, moments with people when, people call her out for, you know, being kind of negative towards their gestures towards her and their kindness towards her, and they kind of call her out for that. And you do see her kind of feel feel bad about it, but not, but still kind of have her same expression. But yeah, she's able to kind of convey so many emotions and still keep that kind of stoic, straight faced character. So she really kind of understood that about the character.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and I
like that.
like yes, but and I like her kind of opening up to other characters and becoming friends with, like, the kid with the bees. So I thought their
Yeah,
kind of
he's
whole
really
friendship was
sweet.
really it was really nice, and her kind of going to visit him every day, and the whole thing with her roommate, and um, I thought they're kind of
Yeah,
like
I mean,
totally different energies kind of coming together was really sweet as well.
it seems like such an obvious and easy thing to do, doesn't it? Put
Yeah.
the goth girl with the weird, overhyped
Bubbly,
poppy,
yeah.
bubbly bubblegum kid,
Yeah.
and people just always go for it, though. People just
It
always love
works.
that kind of
Yes, that
vibe,
dynamic.
especially when, eventually those two characters really end up very close to each other, really end up very good friends. It
Yes.
it it people absolutely love that, and it does seem obvious. It does seem kind of, "Oh, what a surprise you're putting binary opposites together." But
Yeah.
it's if it works, if it
Then
works,
yeah,
it
it
works.
it does. And it worked for me. I really liked their relationship. Um, and, I really liked that, my worries with the show was that, they're taking a character who, seemingly thrives being different, in a world that's very kind of all normal. And, being a part of this family who are just kind of themselves and not kind of caring what society thinks of them. And then you're going to put her in an environment where everyone is seemingly supposed to kind of be weird like her and understand her. So
Yeah,
that's going to strip away kind of the whole point of that family. But they
but it
still
doesn't.
managed but they still managed to make her an outcast in this kind of school of outcasts.
Yeah,
Uh,
they still
so
manage. They don't just make Wednesday feel like an outcast. They actually make the Addams name feel like
yes, because they're
outsiders within
yes.
this group of outcasts,
Yeah,
which
because
is
there
even
is
more
yeah,
impressive.
there's some greater kind of lore going on there. And yeah, I liked kind of the mystery aspects. It felt very much kind of Sabrina, the teenage witch, the Netflix version.
Yes,
Kind of
the chilling adventures of Sabrina. It was quite
Ye
similar.
yes, it felt very much kind of that energy. So, I liked this kind of, young Nancy Drew kind of energy that that was kind of
Yeah,
going into this. I think it worked for the character. I think, it played into her interests, and um it also kind of showed her like wanting to help people and you know, wanting to kind of save the school and prove this kind of this kind of omen about her and kind of prove it wrong, you know?
Yeah, because there's all these visions going on.
Yeah.
There's all this lore, like you said before. I enjoyed the historical kind of lore aspect of a lot of this series. It's not something you tend to think about when it comes to Addams Family related things. You usually do just have one thing in mind, and it is their interactions with normal
Normal
people.
people. Yes, and, like, I don't think, I think the movies did kind of delve into a little bit of kind of silly, kind of over the top supernatural things, like they could just drink poison and they're
Oh yeah,
fine, and, like,
they did,
you
yeah, but
know you
not to the
know,
extent that
Fester
this.
can blow up and he's perfectly fine, but now we're
Yeah,
getting into kind of more supernatural things. So
this is
then
really
it's
supernatural.
all, in a school, so then it's making you kinda, and things like, mermaids and werewolves exist. Um, so then it's kind of feeling a little bit like Harry Potter in that aspect as well. So it's like this cross between Sabrina and Harry
A
Potter
little
kind of
bit, a little
happening,
bit, a little
which are
bit.
two kind of properties that people enjoy. So not a bad kind of combination of things, I'd
No,
say.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. There's elements that are unusual that it took time to kind of get used to because you're viewing anything Adam's Family as automatically one thing.
Yeah.
But once you allowed yourself, I think, to get into the actual monster murder mystery of it, it was really intriguing. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
It paced itself really well. It twisted itself really well. Gwendolyn Christie as the principal of this school as well, I think is just great. I always loved
Yes.
Gwendolyn Christie. It arguably makes me think now that you said that about Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. What about Gwendolyn Christie? If you put Gwendolyn Christie as Morticia, would she do a better job?
Well, I liked kind of this competition, like, that they kind of had amongst themselves in their kind of
I know
era in the
those two
school.
were kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're kind of enemies, and there was kind of this jealousy over Gomez and things like that. Um, and yeah, like, I was watching this thing of kind of, like, things you missed or things you maybe didn't notice, and after they actually kind of pointed out this whole thing that her kind of styling was very much, Tippi Hedren, in The
Ah,
Birds,
okay.
and so kinda once they point out, I was like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
very,
kind
very
of
true."
is.
And there's a lot of kind of bird iconography and, um, also a bunch of kind of, Edgar Allan Poe type things,
Oh, there's a
you know
frightening amount of Poe
Yes,
things going on
yes,
in this.
there's ravens, the dance is called The Raven,
The school's called
Nevermore.
Nevermore.
Yes, so yeah, just very kind of fun little macabre, nods to things
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I really liked Gwendolyn Christie, in this show. She was
I
great, kind of her back and forth with Wednesday, and they're kind of, do we trust her? Do we not?
yeah.
Even Wednesday kind of trying to figure out if she can trust her. Um,
The
so
fun
so
thing
yeah.
is, as well, is that Christina Ricci is also in this, who is
Yes.
obviously very famous for playing Wednesday in those two early 90s movies.
Yes.
So it was fun to see her in this in a very interesting role, actually. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Christina Ricci. She's not like a well, she doesn't seem like she's a major character, but she has her own
Little
little
things to
game she's
do.
playing,
Yes, yeah, so
and
she kind of
it's
works in.
fun.
Yeah, and, she is like the one normie teacher at this
Yes.
kind of fantastical school, and she, like, teaches kind of, she's like, teaching herbology.
Pretty much,
Like
yes.
like, for
Venomous
she's basically
plants and all
Professor
this.
Sprout.
Professor
Um
Sprout.
Yes, essentially. Um, and then yeah, we get a bit of kind of love triangle happening as well. So it's interesting to see kind of Wednesday in romantic settings with like boys having crushes on her and stuff like that. So I'm always into kind of the teen romance
Yep,
vibe.
certainly.
So yeah, really interesting to kind of just see this with this character who we've never kind of seen in these, we I think we got a little bit of that in Addams Family Values, which was kind of
A
cute.
touch, yes.
Yes. So, but it still felt very much kind of like innocent young love. Um, But so getting into, like, now she's kind of in this love triangle with, like, 2 boys kind of vying for her attention and how that whole kind of dynamic is gonna play out. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, B storyline, which is something we never got to see with this character now that she's kind of in this teenage phase.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. It's a good show. It's a fun watch. I
yeah,
can't
it
say
flows
anything
really
other than
well.
that. It's a
Yeah,
really engaging series. I think
yeah.
it's the best thing Tim Burton's put his name on in
In
years.
a while, yes. You know, some people didn't like it because I think they did feel like it veered too far away from kind of the Addams Family we know, but it you have to kinda think about it's not really about them, it's about her,
No, it's an
and this
adaptation. It's a
yes, and
different version.
it's this more grown up version of her, this teenage version of her that, you know, we've never seen a teenage Wednesday. So she's going to be in situations that we've never kind of thought about or seen before.
Yeah,
So kind of, and yeah, the flow of each episode kind of going into and building on this mystery, building on the relationships that Wednesday's building, building on her kind of trying to understand, you know, that people actually do care about her and trying to kind
yeah,
of take down her walls and try to understand and be more open to people. Um, I really liked and just things I didn't like. I just didn't like that she had so much kind of contention with her family because, you know, that's the biggest thing about them is how much they love each other. So to have her kind of have this negative attitude towards her family, I didn't care for that.
I understand that. I think I just looked at it from the point as she is a
Just kind of
growing teenager at this
an
point.
angsty teenager. So,
Everybody
so
goes
yeah,
through that.
yeah, that is a fair point as well to kind of see it in that vein. But
But
yeah,
no, I did enjoy it.
I really was worried about this setting really kind of taking away from like what we inherently know about this character, but it they made it work and the flow from episode to episode I think was really good and Jenna Ortega was great. Everyone I think was great and yeah, just really building on this really interesting mystery and I'm actually kind of excited for season 2. They kind of set it up with
Oh,
a bit
yeah.
of a cliffhanger at the end. So that's gonna be kind of fun going forward with this show. So yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
definitely. I just love it. I just love to see new, young actors in the horror world because it is, Addams Family is in the horror world, and Jenna
Yeah,
Ortega has just been such a breakout this year,
yeah,
all the way from Scream 5 to now through the year to this.
yeah,
She's just done continues like 4 different just real breakout horror-based roles,
yeah,
and she's just great. I
yeah.
love seeing it, and I'm very happy that she pulled Wednesday off.
She did.
I'm
She did
very
a great
happy that
job.
she pulled Wednesday Adams off
Oh,
a
yes, and that
lot.
great dance scene, she choreographed that herself. I think a lot of people are talking about that, really loved that dance scene. Um,
Yeah, from
I saw some
she was, I saw an interview with her. She was looking at kind of old goth dances from the 80s and things like this,
yes, and I saw some
goth
cute, like,
clubs.
comparative videos of, her kind of looking at Lisa Loring, you know, people kind of showing this
Okay.
clip of the original Wednesday, Lisa Loring kind of doing the dance for in the show
Ah,
and
okay.
comparing it to her dancing. And she even said, yeah, she did take some inspiration from original Wednesday, which
Nice.
I got to meet. She's a really nice lady.
Oh,
So
yes, that
Lisa
story has
Loring.
been told on
Yes.
several things,
Yes.
hasn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Which should remind everybody that, Lisa Loring is actually the original on-screen Wednesday Addams and not
Yeah.
Christina Ricci, as much as Christina Ricci is
Was
probably
great. Probably
the
the most
most
memorable.
famous
But
and
yes,
popular.
Lisa Loring was the original series Wednesday Addams.
Certainly.
So,
Certainly.
yeah.
I know, I thought it was great. I thought it was genuinely great. I had a lot
Yes.
of fun with it. I'm excited to see more. Yay for Addams Family. Yay for
Yay.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Success. Well